Welcome to this summary of our quest to a digital system for 2,000 student dorms. We will talk about hardware, we will talk about software, and we will talk about the implications for your organization about this change. So this presentation is for everybody who's looking to digitize their access management system. My name is René Stamer, and I'm the co-founder of GuestCompass. GuestCompass is a communication platform based on the hospitality industry. So we work on hotels, holiday parks, but also in healthcare, logistics, and student housing. And of course, we also deal with access management. Today, I'm here together with Warner Thijssen from housing corporation Lieven de Key.
Yes, hello, my name is Warner, and indeed I work for Lieven de Key. Lieven de Key was founded in 1868, and we have 34,000 rental units in Amsterdam. Out of those 34,000, 7,000 are rented out to students. And within those 7,000, 2,200 units are specifically rented out as a short stay unit. And a short stay unit is a unit for international students. A unit like that is rented out fully furnished, and as you can see here on the photos. It really looks like a hotel rental facility and is characterized by a high turnover, as the international students usually only stay 1 or 2 semesters. Back in 2017, together with GuestCompass, we've created an app specifically for these short stay students. And the app is a great information platform that helps the students as soon as they book the accommodation back in their home country, up until the moment they arrive in Amsterdam, during their stay, up until the departure. This platform decreased the number of questions we receive by 80%. Apart from this, short stay is characterized, like I said, by a high turnover. So we have a lot of key exchanges with these international students. The 2,200 units are rented out to 6,000 tenants each year. That means 6,000 check-ins and 6,000 check-outs. In other words, 12,000 key exchanges every year. A lot of work, very labor intensive. Apart from that, you need to have spare keys to all the facilities somewhere. So, at many of our offices where the caretakers are located, you find situations like this. Tons of spare keys. And by the time the students leave, they all leave together in groups. Here you see Robert, our caretaker. He has to collect all the keys from the students. He gets them in all kinds of ways. If he's lucky, they're in an envelope with a room number on the envelope. And he has about 1 or 2 days to make this into the right key in the right envelope for the new check-ins. So this whole key management was a lot of work and very tricky, because it's very easy to make a mistake and to give the tenant the wrong key. So I was dreaming, what if we would have a future without keys? What if the app we just created would be the key to the room? Then the students who arrive at the railway station or at the airport could go straight to the accommodation without having a key collection moment and open the doors themselves. So I said to GuestCompass, I have this idea that the app could be a key. Are you willing to go and see if we can do that? And René started to think about that. René.
And that's where the dead-end road innovation comes from. Because we knew a little bit which way we wanted to look, but we knew we had a solution that wasn't scalable for the Key to go to 2,000 student dorms. Because we just started to do this in hotels, where we gave access with the GuestCompass. The solution we used there was very comprehensive. We used batteries, installation, wiring, we had to use the internet, but also a 4G backup, and we actually also had battery packs as a backup. So this was the only system we knew, and therefore this is where we started with the Key for the first 5 dorms. And the installation looked a little bit like this. And the costs were at a point that we didn't want to go back to the Key and present this to them because it was way too high. But it did give us some insight in the workings of the student. How did they feel about opening the doors? And also we could think about the most common questions that you probably right now have going through your head. What happens if the phone dies? What happens if I leave my phone in the room? Is it safe? What do you do with the data? So all these things we found solutions for, but it still was not scalable. So we were still on our dead-end road. So we started to speak to different providers of locks. And when you ask them, I want to open the door with my phone, all of them say, that's not a problem. All of them can do it. But an integration into our communication platform, that was more difficult. So at one moment in time, we came across a motor cylinder. The good thing is with this motor cylinder, the installation is very easy. But we still used 6 pen lights and the internet and the backup system. The costs halved of the initial pilot, so that was a good thing. And we were able to roll it out to 81 units. Still, not at the price point that we go through all the student dorms at the Key, but it was a start. And because now we had some volume, we started to get new learnings. Right, Warner?
Yes, because all of a sudden, our caretaker Evelyn had a building where most of the rooms were keyless. And by the time students were leaving and students were arriving, she started to notice that a big part of the work, collecting keys and handing out keys, was gone. And she noticed how efficient this could be. And she started to talk about it with her team, with her manager, at our head office. So slowly the keyless system became more realistic. And people came over to the building to have a look at it. Our board came over. They wanted to see what we were doing. And it was really getting something more acceptable. But we knew we were not there yet. It was still too expensive, too complicated. Anyway, so we both started to look for a solution. And at about the same time, we noticed a Finnish company called iLOQ. And they had this very specific cylinder that was so simple to install that by placing this cylinder, we could put a red cross through all the six things we've been looking at. None of this was needed anymore with this specific iLOQ lock. Great from a hardware point of view, not so good from a software point of view. We were looking for a solution where the student, like I said, arrives at the airport and goes straight to the accommodation in a self-service check-in. The iLOQ software didn't really back that up. But luckily, I had GuestCompass to help me out.
What we found is that the iLOQ cylinder was made for specific critical infrastructure. For example, a Cellnex tower with a gate around it in a field. The gate has the iLOQ cylinder and the engineers have the iLOQ app and are trained on how to use it. Because what Warner said is this is a cylinder that doesn't use any batteries, power or electricity or wiring. So how does it work? You need to use your NFC chip in your phone to charge the cylinder to be able to open it. If I tell you and if I show you, it's easy. But we want to have people realize this by themselves. And that was a little bit more complex. So we built a connection with the Key on one side and iLOQ on the other side. So what we did with the Key, 2 weeks prior to arrival, we sent an email inviting the students to register their phone for keyless access. And every other day we send a reminder. To the male students, we need about 5 to 6 reminders. For the female students, about 2 to 3. In the registration process, we also explain how the system works, where the NFC is located, and how to place it on the cylinder. And we actually made custom animations for each type of phone to show how the student can operate the lock as easy as possible. Let me show you an animation.
Start the app and click on the Access button. You can now connect your phone to the lock. The NFC chip on your iPhone is at the back of the phone at the top, close to the camera. Make sure 50% of the lock is visible above the phone. You must hold the phone very still. Use your hand to turn the black knob and open the door.
Do you still remember where the NFC was located in the video? This is a 30-second video, and we found for about 20% of the students this is 20 seconds too long. And therefore we create different tools on the entire student journey, explaining them how the system works. We had students explain in 7 different languages exactly how to open the iLOQ cylinder. In addition, we also created the key friends, so they can share keys with their neighbors in case they leave their phone in their room. And we are collecting a lot of data that really allows us to improve our offering every 3 or 4 months. So I've spoken about hardware. and I've spoken about software. But there's also an implication for your organization. Because opening a door with your phone, that's just technology, that's not so exciting. But if you want to have a fully automated system of handing out keys and giving out keys, then you start talking about change management. Potentially you start changing your structure in your business, and that also affect the processes and the people. And of course, the end users. You will need a strong communication plan to make this work. Also, the way you work with your supplier changes, because it suddenly becomes a long-term relationship. It's not just about the cylinder, it's about access, and that's important for you. So now 2 or 3 years later, we have 2,000 student dorms fully keyless. And suddenly we found ourselves in a place where we had tons of opportunity. Right, Warner?
Indeed. Where we had a dead-end road before, the road now looks like this. We can go in multiple directions on a multi-lane road. And what we've done so far and the improvements we've done, like the key friends and other things, are just fantastic. I cannot believe it has happened so soon. But there were also things, new ways of using the system that we didn't found out ourselves. Because back when we had the 81 rooms ready, one of my colleagues from the real estate department came over and he said to us, guys, why don't you integrate the intercom system into your keyless platform? And we were looking at each other, oh, that's so logical. Why haven't we thought about this ourselves? So we started to work on that, and we are ready with it because next month we have a new building with 34 short stay apartments, fully keyless with an integrated intercom system. And together with that new add-on, the intercom, the keyless and the intercom together, the whole investment is lower than an old school key system and an old school intercom. So a big step forward, efficient and also from on the price side. Another great way of using the iLOQ system is for the technical maintenance areas. At Lieven de Key, we have huge buildings where all kinds of maintenance partners need to enter the building to take care of the elevator, to do cleaning, to fix bring out maintenance on the heating system, all kinds of work they need to do. And this is how they enter the building. They use these little locks on the outside of the building. Inside the locks, you will find vital keys to get into the building. And this for them was very labor intensive and not very efficient. So as soon as they noticed the system we were using for short stay, they said, hey, this is very usable for us as well. And we are now integrating it, and we're placing iLOQ on 150 buildings, 1,250 doors, and 37 companies and more than 400 engineers are starting to use their phone to enter the buildings. And these little wall locks will then be a part of the past. But also here, from a hardware point of view, the iLOQ system was great. But on the software side, we noticed we could add more value with GuestCompass. And they created a specific app for the technical areas. René.
The interesting thing is that we found that we add a lot of value with the student house on the front end with the app. But actually with the subcontractors, we add a lot of value with our management platform. Because that allows the subcontractor to themselves hand out the keys to their own engineers without interfering with the key. So a lift company that services different buildings from the key can hand out the keys to each of their 8 engineers. And if one of the engineers falls ill, they can replace it with another one and give them access to the building. So it's really self-sufficient and self-reliant, and it doesn't take any time from the key. In addition, we found that the engineers use their phone a little bit different to the students. So we're changing the user interface to make it even more easy for them. And of course, the key now has usage data from older suppliers. So that helps as well. The best thing is that both projects, both the student side and the technical area side, really helped to achieve the goals that we set out at the beginning of these projects.
Yes, because we created self-reliant users. The student can really arrive at the airport and without any check-in moment go straight to the accommodation. And the engineer can enter the building whenever he likes. And this all in a very cost-efficient way. It is incredible what we've achieved in such a short time. And we will keep on improving, and I'm sure the product and the services will look different in 2 years from now. Thank you for joining us. If you want any more information, feel free to contact one of us. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.